Good morning, dear students, and welcome to Chemical Reactions and Equations again. We have already finished by now oxidation and reduction reactions. Now, let us proceed to the last part of the lesson, that is corrosion. Okay, why we need to study corrosion is because due to corrosion, there is lot of loss created because the metal surfaces get damaged, and so whatever articles are formed from metals, they get wasted, and therefore we need to learn about corrosion and how to prevent corrosion. So for that, let us study about corrosion. Okay, now corrosion, what is meant by corrosion? Now for this we will try to perform an activity and try to find out and answer why this is happening. We require for this activity some apparatus and chemicals like test tubes, small iron nails. Then we require calcium chloride, anhydrous calcium chloride as a chemical. Then we have oil here, then boiled water, and even salty water. So let us perform this activity by taking 4 test tubes in the test tube stand, and then place in the first test tube boiled water, and above that let us put the oil layer. In the second test you will put a salt solution or salt water. In the third, let it be air will be there, and the last one will take the anhydrous calcium chloride. Now children, pay attention here. Now calcium chloride is taken as anhydrous. Now anhydrous means it do not have any waters of crystallization. Last year you have learned about water of crystallization, that certain salts have the presence of water of crystallization. Even calcium chloride have the water of crystallization, but this calcium chloride which is taken here in this experiment is anhydrous. That means from here the waters of crystallization are removed. So when it comes in, if it comes in contact with the water, it will regain its water of crystallization. So now let us try to perform this activity. So we have taken now all these 4 test tubes, and we have placed different types of chemicals here. So now let us see what happens here now. Now let us put iron nails in all 4 of these test tubes and keep them for few days. Now let us see what happens. In the last test tube we'll put a cork so that no air from outside comes inside. Now let us see after the few days what happens. You will find that in the first and the last test tube, fourth test tube, the iron nail does not rust. Whereas in the second and the third test tube, the iron nail rust. Now why this is happening? Okay, let us try to find out. Now in this for this process of rusting, both air and water are necessary. From this we can come to know, and the rusting takes place rapidly in the presence of salt. So from this experiment we can come to know that rusting requires air and water. So in the case of third test tube, if you see, there was only air, and therefore it rusted. And even moisture from the air, so that's why rusting takes place. Whereas in the case of the second test tube, there was a salty water, fine, and it was coming in contact with air also. So for rusting process, 2 things are required, that is air and water, but it takes place rapidly if there is presence of salt. So there was salt solution in the second case, and only air and moisture in the case of third test tube. That is why here in these 2 cases the iron nail rust. Now why it did not rust in the first case? It's because the boiled water does not contain oxygen. Okay, so therefore nail does not come in contact with oxygen. Second thing, we have placed oil here on above the layer of water, and therefore oil stops new oxygen from entering inside, and therefore the iron nail do not come in contact with oil at all. That is why it do not rust. Fine. So here there is water, but there is no air. So for process of rusting, both are required together. So that is why here rusting did not take place. Okay. Now let us continue further. Let us see in the fourth case. Here in the case of fourth one, fourth iron nail does not rust in the first one. In the fourth case, wherein we have placed anhydrous calcium chloride, if you see, I have already told you about what is anhydrous here. Now, whatever moisture was there previously in the test tube, okay, now it has tried to absorb that and it has become hydrated calcium chloride, and so whatever air is moisture was there, it was taken, and test tube remains dry, and since test tube remains dry, the iron nail does not rust. Now in the second case and third case, the iron nail comes in contact with air and moisture, and therefore they become rusted. So now this redox reactions you must have already seen in everyday life also. You can see this car, how much rusted it is. When they are bought new, two-wheelers or four-wheelers, when they are new, they will be shiny, but when they become old, you will find that there is a reddish colored layer formed on them, and this reddish colored solid layer is only called as rust. Okay, so and the chemical formula of this rust is, that is Fe2O3 into H2O or XH2O. Okay, so this is how rusting takes place. When it comes in air and moisture, the rust layer is formed, and that rust layer is reddish colored solid layer. Okay, so now let us proceed what is actually happening here. Now, whenever an iron article is kept like this, oxidation reaction takes place in this, and the rust in iron does not form by a simple reaction of oxygen and the surface of iron, but it is an electrochemical reaction. Now what happens is, on the iron article, some regions of iron article acts as anode while some acts as anode and cathode, sorry. So at anode, the iron undergoes oxidation to form Fe2 plus. If you remember, you have already learned yesterday about, in the last video, about oxidation and reduction reaction. So here, when an atom or an ion loses an electron, it acquires a positive charge. So therefore here also iron, if you see, it acquires a positive charge by losing two electrons, and therefore at anode iron undergoes oxidation. Fine. Then later on what happens is, in the cathode region, oxygen undergoes reduction to form water, that is by gaining of four electrons it becomes reduced and it forms water. Fine. Then these Fe2 ions migrate from the anode region and they react with water and further get oxidized to form Fe3 plus ions, and this reddish hydrated oxide is formed from Fe3 plus ion, and now it is called as the rust. So it collects on the surface, and you can see the reaction here, that is 2Fe3 plus aqueous. Once it forms, further oxidation of Fe2 plus ion forms the Fe3 plus ions, and then it moves towards the cathode region. There it reacts with the water to form the reddish colored hydrated oxide, which is also called as rust, and the formula of the rust is Fe2O3 into H2O. Okay, so this is how rusting takes place. So in the case of iron. Now how it takes place in the other articles, let us see further. Okay, so this is called as rusting. So due to various components of the atmosphere, you can see over here, oxidation of the metals takes place and results in their damage. So this is also called as corrosion. Iron rust and the reddish colored layer is collected on it. So this is called as corrosion of the iron. So corrosion is a very serious problem, because every year a lot of money is wasted to replace rusted articles on a large scale, and therefore it's a serious problem. You can see some automobiles, bridges, then ladders or ships, iron meshes, of which iron buildings and all are constructed from iron meshes. So to prevent corrosion, anti-rust solutions can be used, or layer of oil can be applied, or painting can be also done, or it can be applied with a thin layer of zinc, or maybe electroplating. Electroplating you are going to learn in the later chapter, metallurgy. In that you will be learning about electroplating, how it is done. Okay, so electroplating of the metal can be done. So these are some of the anti-corrosion methods, or to prevent the corrosion of the articles. All these types of processes are done so that there is the rusting of the iron, or maybe corrosion of the other articles can be stopped. So now you are going to study this further in the next chapter. So let us study that in the other chapter in detail. Now let us move on further. Okay, so electroplating of another metal can be done. Now this also happens that silver utensils, if they are kept aside, okay, you might be also having the silver utensils in your house. How they become black after some time, whereas the brass vessels, if you see, they become either greenish or maybe patinated. And they also come in contact with the atmosphere components. So brass vessels becomes like this blackened. So it can be cleaned with the help of either lemon juice, or maybe vinegar, baking soda, or maybe tamarind. Now in the lemon juice or tamarind, you should know that they contain the citric acid, and this acid which is present in the tamarind or the lemon juice can dissolve the basic oxide layer which is present above the brass vessel, or maybe the silver utensils. So it can be removed. Okay, and then they become clean and regain their shine back. Okay, so these utensils become clean after rubbing. So even the oil and the ghee undergoes oxidation to form what you call as rancidity, or they become rancid, and they have a foul odor. Okay, and the taste of the oil also changes. So let us study this in the next video about the rancidity. So I hope so you have understood about what is meant by corrosion and how to prevent the corrosion. So in the next video we are going to learn about rancidity. So till then students, take care and bye.